Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to today's episode of Talking Point. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. In our studios today, we are very fortunate to have a very well-known gentleman from Dhaka, an academic, a researcher, a scientist, and if you thought there are three persons today, no, we have only one person, but a very, very distinguished personality. He is none other than Professor Dr Shamsher Ali, Professor Emeritus at Southeast University in Dhaka, President of Bangladesh Academy of Sciences, Founder, Vice Chancellor of Southeast University, Founder, Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Open University. He did his BSc Honours from Dhaka University in Physics, MSc in Physics or Nuclear Physics, Diploma in Advanced Studies in Science, Manchester University, and did his PhD in Theoretical Nuclear Physics from Manchester University. Well, his present position is he's retired from all these activities, but he is Professor Emeritus at Southeast Universities. He has started working with the Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission, which was then Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. He was scientific officer, senior scientific officer, principal scientific officer, and then he held the top position, chief scientific officer. He was also professor of physics at Dhaka University. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
What brings you to London this winter?
Well, I came to visit my sister-in-law, Dr Rahman, here, and I have a conference to attend in Konya, in Turkey, and that is the Islamic World Academy of Science, and I'm a long-time fellow of this organization. So I thought, let me visit my relations and friends,
right, see,
and also attend the conference.
And Turkey is almost Europe.
Yes.
Konya is also famous for the mystics and the Sufis.
Oh yes, Konya is famous for the mystic Rumi, philosopher, yes. Rumi. Jalaluddin Rumi, who fortunately is loved by young generations, yes, the world over, yes, for his message of love, sympathy and concern, right, not only for Muslims but for humanity at large.
Yes,
and that makes him so unique.
Collection of poetry is always one of the best sellers in America.
Yes, yes. Many people find it a little difficult to understand why it's so popular with young generations. I find the answer is very easy. It's a very easy answer. Young generations in the world have everything. They have money, they have clothes, they have food, as I said, you name it and they have it, they have everything. But all they do not have, what they do not have, is a sense of direction in life.
Right.
And love from the family, from the society, from the world at large. And when they delve inside Rumi's literature, they find a different kind of wealth. It embellishes the mind, it creates a whole new world, and they have a very good space for themselves, right, in Rumi's work. And this is what makes them, they don't care what religion he belonged to, and what were the rituals he was performing, but they are very, very respectful of the messages of love and sympathy for the people, the world over.
It's more of philosophy, isn't it?
It's more of philosophy. And Rumi, it's not that he was detached from life. He asked people to be in life, but didn't want people to put the sort of life of this world in their hearts.
Right.
And the famous the famous comparison. Well, there's a masala. This is an example. That does a boat travel on land? The answer is, of course, no. It has to have water for its running. But then, if it runs on water, it's safe. But if the water gets into the boat, the boat sinks. So he says to the people, go around, mix with people, live a happy life, eat, drink, and be merry. But don't put the heart, the whole world, the lust and greed in your heart. That will sink you. I mean, just wade through the world as if you were on a boat, but don't let the water come inside the boat. What a wonderful philosophy.
Yes. Use the water, but don't let it ruin your life.
Right.
This mysticism is wonderful. I think he also said something like this, that sometimes we spend the whole life looking for something, while at the end we find that it was somewhere around near us, see. But we ignore that.
Right.
Sir, beautiful thoughts. See, I do not know where to start and where to begin, but I would like to know your own journey of life. How did it all start?
Well, I saw three flags. Firstly, the British flag.
Right.
Then the Pakistani flag, and then the Bangladesh flag.
Yes.
So I've known people in different generations. And being born in the British Raj, I thank my star that I had a good schooling at Ranaghar Lalupur School, in Jasor Jala School, Rajshahi College, which seemed to be one of the best colleges.
But you went from Jasor to Rajshahi instead of coming to Dhaka.
Yes, because it was closer to my parents thought that they wanted me to be as close to themselves. Right. And people from Jasor used to go to Calcutta in their earlier days, because it was where they used to be daily passengers from Jasor to Calcutta. So I was fortunate to be at Rajshahi College, but there I met some very creative minds, very good scholars. Then I went to Dhaka University, had my master's and honors and master's degree. But then something happened. In the year 1961, early 61, Professor Abdul Salam, who won the Nobel Prize for the unification of the weak and the electromagnetic forces, along with Glashow and Selwyn Glashow and Stephen Weinberg. He was there, and me and a friend of mine, we were wanting to talk to him. So there was this lush-green thing near the Curzon Hall, the garden, and he took one of my arms into under his armpit, and he did the same thing for my friend, and he said, "Where are you going to after this?" I said, "We don't know. We want to study physics." Then he suggested to me go to University College London and go to Massey. Then he said, "No, you are interested in nuclear physics, so go to Oxford. There is an accelerator there." And Professor Wilkinson was already present at the science conference at Dhaka. But finally he said, "I want you to go to Manchester," because there were two great personalities at Manchester. One was Lord Brand-Flowers. He was Brand-Flowers, a very good nuclear physicist. He became rector of the Imperial College, and he became Lord also. And the other gentleman, who was my official supervisor, was Sam Edwards. The Sam Edwards became Sir, and he became the head of the Cavendish Laboratory at Cambridge. and he was also the scientific advisor to the Queen of England. So I had a very good grooming
Right.
in the hands of these two very, very sort of kind human experts. And I thank Salam. And later, I also, after I had done my PhD, I went back to the Atomic Energy Center.
What was the core subject of your PhD?
My core subject was a combination of nuclear and particle physics. I was working on hypernuclei. The hyperons are, there are spin-half particles, lambda hyperon, and they have very short lifetimes. They, once they're created, they live only 10 to the power minus 10 seconds. But they leave very interesting tales to tell. They mix with the nucleons and they form bound states. So we, by studying the dynamics of this system, nuclear systems, nucleons to which it attaches itself to, we can get a lot of useful information about this nucleons. But now that you asked me this question, while studying this hypernuclear physics, for which I'm known in the world also, I did some work which has great astrophysical significance, and this is the alpha potential. Right. You know, alpha is, you know, helium.
Yeah.
The helium atom. There are 2 electrons whirling around the nucleus, and in the nucleus there are 3 protons and 2 neutrons. These 2 protons and 2 neutrons, the nucleus is called an alpha particle. So the helium nucleus is called the alpha particles. And you have helium neon sign, all this. Now, in the sun, you know, there is a predominance of the hydrogen and helium.
Right.
These 2 are the main things. So the helium is stable. But 2 alpha particles, when they come together and form beryllium 8, that is unstable. Now the question is, if 2 alpha particles cannot come together and form a bound state, how can a 3rd alpha particle come and attach itself to that assembly and form carbon-12? And carbon-12, our life is based on carbon. We are carbon-based. So how can, and at that point, the Fowler and others, they suggested that this is a very important thing, but why is it that 3 alpha particles cannot come together and form carbon-12? This is because beryllium 8 is unstable. So they looked for a sort of a resonant state of carbon-12. But the question that remained, why is 2 alpha system not stable? Because if you look at the periodic table, you have the helium nucleus, alpha particle, then beryllium, which can be regarded as 2 alpha system, carbon-12, 3 alpha system, oxygen 4 alpha, neon 5 alpha, magnesium 6 alpha, right up to calcium 40, which can be treated as a 10 alpha system. All of them are bound, but not beryllium 8. Well, it's a mystery, but there are reasons for this mystery.
Well, it's about time to take a break, and when we come back, we will definitely get more information from you to solve this mystery.
Of course.
We'll come back after this short break. Thank you.